Hey, we're Kristen and Laura, and you're on Mom Blab because they talk, we blab, and people have a lot to talk about. That's why we come here on Mondays and recap the in case you missed it stuff and talk mainly about what's happening with parenting, moms and dads and kids, and lifestyle. And we have experts on the show, and we have moms who just want to know more, like you, who are curious, who've done the research, who found their niche and want to know more about it. So we can give that to you here on Mom Blab. It's Kristen and Laura. Thanks for joining us.
Now, we have a special guest, and we're just going to start off the whole show with her right now. Maria Quiban. Did I say?
Maria Quiban from
Quiban.
That's perfect. Perfect.
I really can only say names right one time, and then it's all out the door from there. Anyway, but she's from Mommy Loves Tech. Now, you are a techophile, I guess, if you will, especially as it pertains to children. So how did you get interested in doing something like that?
You know, I've always been very tech curious, and working in the newsroom, we are exposed to a lot of the latest and greatest technology. And so I think it goes way back to when I was a kid. My dad worked for United Airlines, and he handled all of their computers. So in our neighborhood, I grew up in Hawaii. I think we had one of the first computers. It was DOS. And so it was a lot of the old style. Yeah, exactly. I think we had one of the first microwaves. This goes way, way, way back. So I've just always been very tech curious. My brother used to take apart televisions when we were kids. And so
you're in front of the screen. I mean, for us, we watch you every morning on Fox 11. You've seen Maria do the news, and we absolutely love her. We love your outfits of the day. Yay. I love to follow you on Instagram. You know, she's like a mom friend online, and working in the same business, it is really, really nice to have support from other moms who are doing things similar to you. And that's kind of how Mom Lab started too. It's just, you know, we all kind of wanted a place to get together and talk, and not just talk, but blab. Because if you don't know, like, TV and radio and these jobs that we have, our jobs, they make us say everything in these little tiny boxes with little tiny scripts quite a bit. I mean, it's fun, and we get to have our personalities, of course, in there, but you know, it's kind of limited to a certain degree about how much we can really just go off on something. And that's what we're going to do here, is just go off on this. So moms have come together to talk about tech, and the first thing that popped into our mind was Maria, because she's got mommylovestech.com, and that's what it's all about. I've been worried lately with my kids as they've gotten older, knowing that they have to be connected on the internet, knowing that they have to be online, how I'm going to protect them. Because when they're babies, we know how. If they're going to run across the street, we know how to pull them back from getting hit by a car. You know, we can have the talks with them about this and that. But when it comes to technology, wow, that is a whole nother level of parenting.
They know way more than we do.
They actually, that's the scary part, you know, and that's the challenge for us parents, is we have to know more than they do to a degree. I mean, we have to stay one or two steps ahead of them. And, you know, with all these new social media outlets like Snapchat, do you remember when Snapchat first came out? We were all like, what is this?
I can't.
Now, I mean, there's Tumblr, there's Facebook and Twitter is like, woo. Back then, now, you know, for the kids, it's like, oh, you're on Facebook, so is my mom and my grandma. So, you know, like that kind of thing. So kids are on to the next and to the next. Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about technology and the internet, particularly. I think it's so awesome for kids today. Don't you? Yes. I mean, thank God for the internet. Yeah. How when we were growing up, we did not have it. We could have studied for classes. You know, it would have been so much easier to have the internet handy instead of lugging our big backpacks to the library, right? Do you remember that? And now it's right here.
The card file to get the Dewey Decimal for the research book that you needed. Remember that?
Yes, exactly. So how awesome is it for our kids to grow up in this technology-filled world, right? For them, they're going to be smarter, more savvy, and more equipped to handle all of the jobs that's coming up in this world. So as a parent, for me, it's kind of an interesting experience because I have two kids. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I have my little one who's 5 years old. And then I have a 29-year-old.
Oh, wow. It's a big span.
I wanted to keep sibling rivalry to a minimum. That's what I wanted to, it's like,
when you were 5.
I did have my older son a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny. My little one's father, he asked me the same question when I first met him, and I go, I met him when I was 12, and he totally believed me. No, not quite that young. I did have him when right, I say my senior year in high school. So I would not recommend it. No. It was really hard work. I didn't sleep very much, but exactly with the help of my parents and my family, you know, I was able to do it all and still have a career that I had pursued. So my point is, raising a child today versus raising a child back then, I can honestly compare how technology has helped me this time around. I mean, from trying to conceive, you know, there's a bazillion and one apps out there to tell you when you ovulate and when is it
crazy?
Yes. It's crazy.
It's
crazy. Really crazy. I know. So how wonderful was that for us? To keeping track of my son, you know, because at that time I was paying for the phone, right? So knowing exactly where he was, that's exactly right. To now my 5-year-old, who I think is so much smarter because of some of the apps out there. You know, he can control the remote for the television. I swear, better than everybody in this house. You know, he knows how to get from Apple TV to Netflix to regular DVR. So that's
it's almost like it's genetic in them nowadays. It's like they can pick up a brand new phone, a brand new generation of phone, and operate it better than you can right off the bat. I'm like, that's got to be some kind of molecular
what I think is interesting
level going on.
And I'm very pro tech in my house. I know there are people that are non-screen parents. Just there's no screen at all. They don't believe in it. Zero screen. It's you know, it's reading their brains. I actually have some friends who oh gosh, why can't I? Waldorf parents, if you know what that is, it's a school out here. They have a few of them who do not believe in technology. And I've actually had a very dear friend who I do love say to me like, oh, I'm so sorry. Your daughter's so into technology. She's not going to have an imagination and things like that. So, yeah, there's a real tech backlash with parenting as well. Wow. There are parents. And here's my theory. It's because in our generation, we didn't have this. And like you were saying, we didn't have this. I mean, I have a 23-year-old stepson. Things were a lot different a long time ago. But the thing is, I don't think we know how to parent our kids with this kind of technology yet. I mean, I don't know if we know how to set the boundaries properly because they need to have this technology, in my opinion. It's essential for them to be successful human beings in the future. I personally love technology and social media and the way entertainment's being changed with digital media. But I don't think we know how to manage it and how to protect them. It just wasn't part of our upbringing, or even, like you said, bringing a kid 20 years ago.
Right. That's why you need sites like mommylovestech.com because, you know, there's some guidelines. If you check the American Pediatrics Association, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, they finally came out with their recommendations. And there's some really good tips. What did you see that?
I'm being hit by some kind of sunspot. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, there's a nice glow about you, which is really good. I like
something.
I like it. We need one. Yes.
Well, please continue.
So the American Pediatrics Association recommended that, you know, depending on your age, they definitely don't recommend any screen time for any kids under 2. So if you're a baby, they just don't recommend it because their eyes are still developing. And so things like so just to be on the safe side,
can I ask you a question about that?
Babies to a tablet.
Okay. So you know, I've noticed. I mean, there are apps for babies. Of course. So these are things that maybe people are still
There
making, and they're even making them in black and white and red because they're making them for kids who can't see color yet. They're making them so early. So just because they're out there and available, you wouldn't recommend.
I would. Not necessarily. Now, that being said, I did expose my child to some of those particular baby apps. And, you know, it's just, I always believe in the common sense approach, you know, just like anything in life, right?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, you should always be there with your kid, right? Number one, you should never use the iPad or a tablet as a way to babysit your kid. You know,
sure.
So if you're going to use a tablet or an iPad, look at it like a book. I mean, be there with them, read it with them, and make sure that you know exactly what they're looking at. And use the common sense approach. I mean, I wouldn't sit there for 3 hours, you know, with the thing. I used to do it for half an hour. First and foremost, their attention span at that age, I mean, forget it. Like, that was the most a kid would want anyway. And I had to make sure I protected it with the thing because there was drool everywhere, like coming out of everything. So yeah, there's some really wonderful apps, and I'm telling you, a lot of it is really good. You just have to be there to monitor it. Now, the Pediatrics Association recommended no more than 2 hours of screen time per day for kids. Studies show that kids are actually getting about anywhere from 8 to 12 hours of screen time a day for some kids. Now, that is absolutely unacceptable. I mean, that should never happen. That's way too much screen time. One of the reasons why we have so much obesity in our country, you know?
Well, so I have to chime in on that too, because I have to say the one thing that's really driving me crazy, my kids are 7 and 9. So I'm not on top of them all the time. They are going to school and getting technology from computer labs. They're getting it from their friends who have phones that are showing them in the schoolyard things that I, of course, don't want them to see. So it's really challenging when I'm not physically present to be able to monitor what they're doing. But the other issue that I'm coming up against a lot is that when my son, for example, goes to someone else's house for a play date or whatever, I went to pick him up one time and they said, oh, the kids have been sitting there for 4 hours playing video games. And gosh, we just kept saying to him, like, why don't you go outside? But they just wanted to play video games. Thinking, who are the parents here? It's a plug. Unplug it. You know, you have to be the boss of your children. People see like, oh, he just loves being on the iPad all the time. He never wants to go off. I'm thinking, well, yeah, of course he does. Like, don't you think that parents should be a little more active about that?
But however, I'm actually that parent.
Absolutely.
I am that parent. I am because I see, I don't force the kids to get off and go outside as much as maybe other people would, or think that it's so bad or taboo. I mean, when Chick-fil-A came out with this whole drop your cell phone in the box while you have a meal, we'll give you a free dessert. I was like, screw you. What are you telling me? If I put my cell phone in a box, first of all, someone's going to take my iPhone 6 and that's not okay with me. But, you know, I mean, I like the fact that they feel so comfortable with it in tandem with the rest of life. I don't think it's this bad thing that can only be done in these small, like little, but I don't know. I want to find a better way. I want to find a way to blend it so that it's not so like, rip the cord out, send them outside. Psh, you know, it feels a little old school to me.
Yeah,
that's
I'm totally
like I'm
like
not
a tech
preparing
dictator
them for
in my
the
house.
realities
I'm horrible.
Of what life's really about nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it. You're busy. We're all busy. We're working moms. And I know for me, like even right now, thank goodness my aunt is visiting today. Yay. So I kind of put her on my little boy duty right now. It's like, so I close the doors. So they're actually watching Little Big Shots. You know that show with Steve Harvey? It's hilarious. It's like, so, but they're watching it together. You know what I do? And it's all depending on how old your kids are, obviously, but I think this would work for older kids too. But there's little timers on the tablet, on the iPad, on the phone. And once, you know, when they get it, I set an alarm on it and you get 30 minutes. Yeah. So I try to stick to this rule. I don't always accomplish it, but we try to do 30 minutes in the morning and then we do about 30 minutes after school. And then we get into the routine of when the alarm goes off, it's bath.
That's a good idea. Because within their technology things, they seem to listen to the technology. Like my daughter was having a full-on conversation with Siri today in the back of the car.
Yeah. They do.
She thinks it's her friend. So I think they listen to their technology. So that's a good idea to set their timer inside the device they're actually using instead of it coming from outside. That's an interesting, different way. Yeah. Right. I like that.
Well, what's kind of fun about being one of those mean dictator moms like me is that then you can bribe them really good. See, that's where it's coming really handy for us, because they're so limited on their tablet time and on their computer time that they'll do anything for it. So if I'm like, well, you got to get, the car cleaned and the house done and you're all ready for school. And if you have 15 minutes left, then maybe you could play for 15 minutes before you go to school. And it's worked like a charm. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I do the same thing. Yeah. But do you know what I find myself being guilty of? And I used to be one of those parents before I had my little one. I kind of judged parents whenever I go to a restaurant.
Me. I've seen it.
Have you done
Some
this?
Some people applaud me. Some people think that I'm the smartest. Some people think I'm the smartest parent. My husband and I used to go with iPads, and I'd have older folks come and go, that is genius. What the hell didn't they have that when I had kids?
What a great idea. Exactly. So before I had my little one, I didn't really get it, but now I get it. So I apologize to all the parents that I secretly were judging. No longer. No longer. But I think it's great to bribe them. And if you go out to dinner, it's the only piece sometimes the mom and dad can have, a little conversation at dinner. So I'm totally for that, you guys. Now, I wouldn't recommend it if you went to, like a 5-star restaurant. I don't know about that. But whenever we'd go to CPK or Islands, that's what we would take out the tablet.
Okay. I was just going to say, speaking of islands, okay, Maria, we've got her here now. Let's ask her everything. So speaking of islands or CPK, so my daughter will walk in, and she's 7 now, but she's been doing this for a while. The first thing she'll ask is, "Excuse me, do you have Wi-Fi?" That is the first question wherever we go. And that is also how I bribe her to do certain things, like go shopping for new shoes at Nordstrom because she knows they have free Wi-Fi there, or go, school shops, things like that. So it's her first one. Could you have free Wi-Fi? So I don't mind that, but she's really into technology. She wants her own YouTube channel. She wants to code. She wants to do the cupcakes and coding, those girl camps that they've been having, which I love that there's so much girl technology going on. She's really into it on a level where she wants to game in a way that her PC cannot handle anymore because it doesn't have enough RAM. Like it needs an external video card or something. It's like out of my range. So when you get these kids that want to go so much deeper into gaming, yeah, exactly. She's really into gaming. That seems to be like, I think we need to nurture that. I think that we need to look at that and go, okay, maybe that's her talent. Because I did make her sing in choir, and she did do Christmas shows, and she does do karate, and so she has her other things. But man, she keeps going back to technology, and I feel like if I don't nurture it somehow, am I doing her a disservice? Because maybe that's her talent or her creative expression.
I think you're doing a great job. You should encourage it. Right? Girls who code, they rock, man. If I could go back to school and totally study code, I would do it. And I may still do it. But that's what I would love to do, because look at all these guys who learn how to code early. They're bazillionaires now doing what they love and creating these amazing apps and technology. So I say go for it. Go for it with her. You just like I said, it's just about balance and reasonable timing, for them. So if she enjoys it, I say go for it.
See, I have a question. I have to go back to the restaurant question. I just had one thought. The dictator that I am. At what point, because I'm just that person, at what point is it though that they have to learn how to sit at a meal out and make conversation and be civilized without a device to distract them? So I think the question that a lot of parents are facing is there's so many benefits to technology like that, like being able to have a nice dinner out. But at some point, how do you transition them into, well, we don't go to a restaurant together and sit on our phones the whole time. We go to a restaurant and we talk about our day or enjoy our food.
Yeah.
And they have to learn how to sit still. And there's a process that, eventually they have to learn. And I think because my kids are now getting into being social without me, they're going to parties and things like that on their own, that I'm trying to really make sure that they learn that. But where would that process lie, do you think? At what age?
Oh, again, it just depends on your kid, right? I know for me, my 5-year-old is getting better at it. Like I'm noticing a difference. Part of it is just constant, like at home. This is where we practice it. We try to never have the tablet ever while we're eating at home, and we eat very quickly because the attention span is not there.
5.
Yeah. I wish that I had brought it with me, but in our kitchen at our table, I bought these really amazing flashcards. They're not just regular flashcards though, but they kind of fan out. And there are these fun kind of questions and pictures. And that's how we do it now. We've been doing it for a couple of years, and we put it away sometimes and we take it back out. And then so we've taken it back out recently, just about a month or so ago. And he loves it because it's a game, whether it's on a tablet or on these flashcards. Yeah, kids just want to laugh and have a good time. So that's the bottom line. So if you make it fun, no matter what it is, then they're going to enjoy it. So we have eliminated the tablet during meal times here at home for the most part. So depending on the age, I think your child. And I mean, right now, I would never take Gus to a fancy restaurant. There's just no way. Yeah. He's just not. But we're getting there. We had a family. The more you have family around eating with you, I think they learn. They learn through your behavior and everyone else's. So it's really hard for me to tell him what to do. So that's why I love it when people come over and have dinner with us, because then he gets involved in the conversation, and then he tends to not crave the tablet or anything else outside of what's going on the table. So if they're involved and they're interested and engaged, I feel like that's, they're not going to want something else.
It's an interesting time, isn't it, though? It's kind of like we're just learning as we go what that balance is. And in the end, it's always going to be about balance. Like you said, common sense is to something that's smart. What works for my child? At what point do they get bleary eyed and start to really, lose their ability to run for a minute before I start to go, maybe I should cut back on the screen time, or maybe I should engage them more in conversation because they're losing their social skills. It's almost like you have to kind of hedge them off at every angle of the box until you find the balance that works for you and your family.
Yeah. I mean, parenting is no more difficult now than it was before. I mean, we just have to parent, right? I mean, that's the bottom line.
I agree. And I think, I think that technology is also kind of, don't forget, it's a screen. So whether you have the TV on while you're eating, or it's the same thing as having an iPad. So don't think that, you're we turn we just turn on.
I don't do screen time. I'm just watching TV.
We're having dinner, hey, that is screen time. Yeah. And now they're also multi-screen timing. Too. I mean, in our business, they've actually had to find experts in first screen, second screen, and third screen watching, because while they're watching Maria on the news, they're also on their phones, on iHeartRadio, listening to a radio show, and then they're also on their iPad scrolling through a magazine, and then they're also because there's more than one screen, so they're actually multi-screen generation. They're growing up where my kid will have an iPad and the TV on at the same time. Now, we don't have cable. We're weird cord cutters. We only. Yeah, we just have Apple.
Oh, no.
I like it that way.
That's actually very modern.
No, I think it's the way of the future. Actually. And also my kids don't see any commercials, which is fantastic, unless we're in a hotel. And then they see a commercial and they get really upset about it. And they're like, what is this? I don't want to see this. There's a cereal on my TV. So, yeah. Can you skip this? Mom, skip
How do I move it forward?
But they multi-screen now, and they have this weird new juggling act that they're doing mentally. I hope it doesn't jack them up. I hope it ends up being for the good, that they develop a way to be able to do this. But it seems like multi-screens is the future. I don't know.
Yeah, multitasking. I want to just back up just a little bit because I know you have
Laura
teens,
does.
right? Or at least tweens, getting into that tween stage.
Yeah.
Laura, you do, Laura.
7 and 9. Mm-hmm.
I have witnessed this a lot. Like I've gone to some of my friends, or not friends, but birthday parties where there are some older children. And I noticed that these kids have computers in their bedrooms. That's one of the number one rules I know when it comes to technology, the internet, is that you should really not allow your kids to have internet access in their rooms. You should always put the family computer, if you will, in a room in the house where everyone can see, because I think teens don't realize that the internet is not, it's global, it's the world, and what they're exposed to. Number one, my God, parents, we should all know what they're exposed to on the internet. And number two, what they're putting online. Yeah, what they're putting online goes out there and it stays out there forever. So we just have to remind.
Do you have any tips
our parents
for that,
about
by
that
the way,
and
with
the kids,
your kids' exposure to others and exposing their own selves online? Anything that can help, like apps or websites or?
Well, as far as apps and websites, there are a ton which will monitor your kids. I mean, right down to each keystroke even, and you have every right to as a parent. There's a lot of debate about this, about how, your kids should have privacy and you shouldn't be snooping on them. I'm sorry. I'm not. Yeah, I'm kind of in the old fashioned camp, I guess. And it's like, you're under my care. And so therefore I'm going to know exactly where you go. That's goes for when you leave this house. And that goes for when you're online on the internet, because it's basically the same thing. If you leave your kid with an internet accessible phone, iPad, or computer, and they're by themselves, you're basically dropping them off at the airport and saying, see ya.
Yeah, I think
I don't know where you're going to go.
Yeah, you guys,
so
I think parents don't. I know, in fact, I know it. It's not like, oh, I think, or I'm pontificating about it. I know parents who I'm close to who do not know what their kids are doing on the internet. This is twofold. One is they don't understand the technology. So they think, like, let's say, oh, my kid's just playing Minecraft on a server. It's no big deal. Hi, guess what? That means they're playing with thousands of strangers, first of all. And then it's twofold in that way, where parents just don't know what the kids, they don't know the language of it. So they don't think it could potentially be a bad thing. And secondly is social media. I know kids who are doing stuff on social media their parents don't know about. What do you do when that happens? What do you do? Do you call the parent? Do you say, hey, your kid's doing something? I mean, I've actually talked to a mom before, and kind of tried to hint at, like, so, your daughter's on Instagram, right? We're all good with that. Thumbs up. It's okay. And she said, like, oh, yeah, I know her account. I've seen it. I'm like, there's no freaking way this woman has seen her kid's account. There's no way she'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, then you've done your due diligence. I mean, as another parent, you can let them know. I know I have some good friends who are friends. Obviously, they have to be friends with their kids, and that's part of the deal. If you're going to have a social media account, you're going to have me as a friend, quote unquote, as a follower, and therefore they're friends with their friends, so they do see what their friends are posting. And we've had this conversation, what do we do? That question you're asking exactly, Kristen. So as a parent, I mean, you can let the other parent know, hey, by the way, do you know that your kid is on Instagram? And if they say yes, then you've done your, you've done what you're expected to do. Yeah, it's sad. I see it every day. I see it on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, it's sad. It's really super sad. You can track what your kids are doing all the time. I mean, there's no excuse for not doing that. I know parents who say, I have all the parental controls on that app or on that phone. I have all the parental controls set up on their tablet or laptop. But even with parental controls, why I always say, be there with them, because I have it all set up for my 5-year-old, and they still somehow find a way to get through all of the protocols, the safety protocols, and he has been exposed to some bad language and you know,
you have to just work really hard. You have to work really hard.
Yeah.
You have to look at the secret apps. You have to go through their phone. You have to be the journal looker of their phones and their internet. But that's what you got to do if you want to parent kids in this age. That's just what you have to do. Yeah. So your advice is so amazing. I love what you're doing out there. Are you having a lot of people come to you and ask you these kinds of questions online?
I've had a few. Yes. I was telling Kristen earlier that I have taken a little bit of a break over the last year, but I'm ready to pick it back up again. And as you know, technology changes
is the new
on
technology,
a dime. So getting back into it.
Yeah,
this
you're looking at
I
it.
was not introduced to Blab until now, so thanks you guys.
Fun, right?
You're welcome. I think it's going to get more and more popular. I mean, live streaming is such a buzzword right now, but nobody really knows what it is. And there's a kind of a there's a little bit of a learning curve to get on to Blab, even if you know what you're doing on Twitter and social media. So it's tough, but we believe in this platform. And there aren't a lot of moms. I don't think there were any moms that I could find doing this. So we're kind of the first ones doing it. And so it makes sense that we'd have Mommy Loves Tech on a new tech that's still in beta. And this is where we're going to find you. So
beta. Yeah. I love it. I love all the comments that's coming up too. Some people are saying go to mothercoders.org. I love it. There's some resources for women who code, girls who code.
Thanks for your comments. And if you have any tips, I think each one of us as moms should leave you with an actionable tip to take before we wrap it up. And I know we've taken up so much of your time, Maria, and she wakes up at 2:30 in the morning, by the way. So so we can't keep her long. She needs to go to bed in 20 minutes. But I would say we all have kids of different ages. And so mine are 4 and 7 right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and what I did is I read an article because I'm a millennial trapped inside a Gen X's body. That's what I've been saying, right? That is how I feel. It's so unfair.
Yeah.
But so my so I'm reading all these stories, and I read a really terrifying story about a 3rd grade girl who was hacked. Her computer was hacked, and someone took a picture of her because her computer's in her bedroom, as is my daughter's computer's in her bedroom. Right? I know. So she has her computer in her bedroom, and her computer is also her Plex and her Netflix and her source of entertainment. It's her TV. It's a computer monitor. So they hacked, and they can do this, people. They can hack your computer and use your camera and watch you. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it is true. Yep. So they did this with her and took pictures of her and then showed them to her and then embarrassed her with them to such an extent. I know it could make me cry as a mom. Anyways, this scenario went bad fast. She was scared. It was not good. So one of the first things that I did, and I know my daughter does have a computer in her closet. So it's I put it in the closet, and it's like in her room, but it's back there, and with the curtainy thing that closes it. But I swear to you, put stickers over her camera. She cannot do anything with that camera. There's no, and that's so easy. I mean, that's like tip of the day. You literally just go into your kid's sticker stuff and get a sticker and go, done. And I did that, and she didn't even notice. And there are little stickers all over her computer now, and boom, done. No camera, no one seeing her whether she wants to or not. And that's one of our little things that we did that made me just feel better about all the scary stuff.
That's a great tip. That is a great tip. I have one tip that I've discovered as a mom of 7 and 9-year-olds, which is commonsensemedia.org. If you have not checked out that website, you can go there and they will review every single app or movie or anything online that you need to get some information about. And they will tell you what child age it's appropriate for. There'll be reviews. They'll talk about, the pluses and the minuses. I had a big argument with my son about a certain video game that he had to play.
One with the booby girl.
Clash of
That's the one with the booby girl. What's her name?
I've not heard of that one.
That blonde model. Yes, and
I know who you're talking about.
My husband would know.
Yeah.
Kate Putin.
Oh, it's
Kate Upton.
Yes. Kate Upton.
I don't even know.
Kate Upton. Kate Upton.
Like Kate Putin. Is that Vladimir
Putin's
Putin's daughter? What's going on?
Yes, that's her with the boobs, and she comes up and she says on screen, "Will you be my hero?" And I kid you not, my 4-year-old boy looked at the iPad and looked at me and went, I want to be her hero. And I was like, I'll bet you do, Cruiser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Deprogramming needed. So much deprogramming needed for that. Well, the one that I don't know if this is the same one or not, but Clash of Clans that I looked up was basically just sort of like a Minecraft sort of fighting game. But the problem is that you have a chat room that's accessible to whoever. And I did not want my child to have a game where they could talk to some stranger online. So but luckily Common Sense Media gave me that information. I would not have known that until I downloaded it myself and played on it for a while. So that's a great, great, great resource for parents if you're not sure how to navigate things online.
I love that Common Sense Media. A lot of parents don't think that because they have a console game like an Xbox or a PlayStation that they're safe because it's not technically a computer in their room. But hello, those consoles have access to the internet. So they are chatting and, entering these chat rooms with people from all over the world that you don't even know. So they are in their rooms too. So please know that consoles are also bad in terms of the kind of exposure they can have in their own room. Here's my tip to you guys, and I have many, but there's one that I really want to emphasize, especially if you've got a teenager. When you're in your car, kids learn by example. So parents, you just need to, you can tell them what's right and what's not right till you're blue in the face, right? But ultimately, they're going to follow your example. So I just please beg you, do not be texting in your car. Don't check your messages on your phone in the car because they're back there and they're watching you and they see you. So if they see you doing it, they're going to think it's okay to do as well. Even though they're not old enough to drive yet, they see you doing it. So I beg you, put that phone away whenever you're in the car.
That is such a great point. And you have so much incredible advice. Handle at Mommy Loves Tech is the way that you find her out. If you're checking her out on Twitter or online, make sure that you visit it because you're just a resource to have for parents. It's so great to have you on the show. And it's great for me to get to meet you a little bit.
Thanks, you guys. It was a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to see you.
IRL.
A real life.
IRL. Let's bring our kids together.
We'll hang out. I'm in. Totally.
Yeah.
Yay! We'll drink
Put them all on their iPads and chat.
Bye. Bye, Maria Quiban. Bye.
All right. We're right.
Go to mommylovestech.com.
Bye. Thank you so much.
And you can also see her every morning on Fox 11. If you're in LA, she's doing the news for you. She's all over social media. She's so hooked up. And can we just say thank you to her? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, she had it takes a village. She had her aunt watching her 5-year-old. And she's been up since 2 o'clock doing the news in the biggest market in America. So we are very, very grateful to have had her on the show. Thank you for watching. Marco Gonzalez. Oh, is she still on? Marco on the web, who ironically works on The Talk, has been watching our blab on live on Facebook. So thank you very much. Tell the girls you're cheating on them with us over here. That's right.
Because they talk, but we blab.
Thank you for being here. If you watched us on Blab or on Facebook, we really, really appreciate that. And then we know this was a double show, but hey, Monday, which is usually our Mommy Monday, is Memorial Day. So we are so not going to be anywhere near doing this. No, we're going to be drinking some cerveza with limon or something happening.
That's right. But you can definitely catch our pictures. I'm at Knickerburger. She's at Kristen Cruz. Catch us at Mom Angeles. And you can always hashtag Best of LA to find out what we're up to. I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. Go out and have fun with your family and put those iPhones down and have a blast.
Post some good Instagram.
Put your phone down. All right.
Hashtag Mom Blab. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.